Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos and shit. My name is John Boy. It's John Boy time. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me, as ever, is the pinnacle and perfection of perversion, handsome young Aaron Joseph Pita.
That's me, dude. Don't wear it out.
Sup?
You know, man, just try not to murder anybody.
Yeah.
And in light of recent profiles, just gotta really keep that stuff down.
Yeah, well, you know what you should do is write.
About killing people?
Yeah, well, anything.
Well, actually, that might be better, because then you wouldn't do it, as opposed to writing children's books.
Yeah.
And then you have the murder still.
Yeah.
Gotta exorcise the demon.
If you didn't see that last week, we did Jack Unterweger, and he was a children's author. I bet those children's books went in the garbage.
Dude, I'm gonna get them for my kid.
Collector's items.
Yeah.
See what happens to bad boys and girls?
What did Dr. Seuss do? That's what I gotta wonder.
Went to school with Timothy Leary.
Oh, that's right. That's enough.
And to your right, my left, handsome Matt Brousseau. Cape God.
Hello, boys. It's great to be here with my good friends, Galactic Crime Lord Slobber the Nut.
Oh my God.
And
if I had a sip of anything right now, I would have asphyxiated. Slobber the nuts?
yeah.
That's really good.
That's incredible.
And noted strongman, Gonad the Barbarian.
Oh my God.
That's good.
Those are from Alex. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
yeah.
Alex. Slob of the nut.
What makes you happy, Gonad the Barbarian?
Oh, to see your enemies driven before you. To empty your ball bag.
To hear the orgasms of the women.
I like that it's the lamentations of the women. They're like, please, Conan, don't.
I'm lamenting this.
To
hear the lamentations of the
there's nothing I like more than women complaining.
Yes.
Ah,
Nothing gets me harder.
I can't believe you guys didn't. You guys are wearing the same outfit you wore for the last episode.
I don't change much.
I will not do it. I actually
I'm slobber the nut, dude.
yeah.
I didn't even leave the studio.
No, it's true.
I've been laying low in your place.
I've been sitting in a puddle of my own filth. That's it. And sick.
Bits of sick.
Well, gentlemen,
Slobber the nut.
Yeah.
as I said last week, we'll have some fun stuff coming up on Patreon. A lot of dog-eared pages on the Hellbound Heart.
We're all waiting with bated breath for your RoboCop.
I'm baiting and breathing.
RoboCop is coming up soon. I just finished the Maniac Cop series.
Oh, good. I have not seen.
Had a lot of fun with that.
Only Germany had those.
They're
Now,
like
you're not talking about John the Cop.
no.
Are we gonna get him?
We can. Apparently.
Well, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well,
The Maniac Cop series is like, what if like Jason Voorhees was like a cop?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he'd be unstoppable. You're like, he's already unstoppable.
He'd be fired from one department, hired by another.
Politically unstoppable.
yeah.
He'd go from Camp Crystal Lake to Elm Street. It's a revolving door.
To Cleveland PD.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they're pretty good.
Rampart.
The first one is actually a trauma film.
Which one?
The first Maniac Cop. Yeah.
Did you see the new trailer for Toxic
I
Avenger?
did. I'm kind of excited.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Toxie?
Toxie.
Peter Dinky?
Yeah, I wonder what the
Dinky.
fuck he's going to be doing in there.
Toxic.
Toxie.
Dinklage is Toxie?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow. That's amazing.
And he's got
Very
that mop.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a good mop on.
Man with a mop.
Dude, the first Toxic Avenger, I'm sorry to
It's okay.
derailing it. The first time I saw Toxic Avenger, late night cable, and I remember being like, there were so many that really just bummed me out as a kid. Like, he was treated so poorly. Like,
They're mean movies. Trauma movies are
super
mean.
Like, the fucking, he gets thrown in the toxic waste, and then he goes home. He's in the bathtub, like the skin is peeling off of him, and like his aunt or grandma's like, puberty, like, because hearing him like wail in the bathroom. And I was just like heartbroken hearing that.
Yeah.
Like the the sadistic humor of it like went over my head.
Yeah.
And then when he tries to kill himself.
Similar to RoboCop.
Yes.
Yeah.
He tries to kill himself and he like runs into like what he thinks is a semi truck coming down a tunnel, and it's just two motorcycles that pass him by, so he can't even kill himself. I was like, this is this fucking poor thing. And then there was a scene where like the cool kids are all like drinking in a car, and they're like just like hundreds of beer cans on the floor of the car.
Yeah, of course.
And they're hitting people on bicycles. And I was just like, this is
so dark.
It fucked me up.
Yeah, it's
like,
so
it was
dark.
very that was scared straight for me. It would
Yeah.
and then you see it later and it's hilarious.
Right.
But like it really, I was too young to see.
Yeah,
it.
those things did not sit well with me back in the day.
I was like, people are bad.
Yeah.
But then you see it later and it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's all deformulated. His eyes, one of his eyes here looks like a Picasso painting.
All right, gentlemen. So Patreon, $5 a month, folks. That's the kind of shit we talk about.
Yeah, or more. You could pay more.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're killing these people. Yes. Matt. Well, we're waiting. I know very little about what you're doing.
Yeah. This
very little.
This is a forgotten character of American history, and had to. Well, I'll just
Get to it, man, before I start thinking about slob with a nut some more.
July 12th, 1856, Granada, Nicaragua, capital of Nicaragua, Granada. So named by the Spanish, a city in central Nicaragua on the northern coast of Lake Nicaragua, prime location. In its history, it had fought off attacks by English, French, and Dutch pirates who sought control of this jewel of a city.
And here they call it Grenada,
Yes.
even though it is Granada.
Yeah.
Means pomegranate.
Oh.
That's why grenade is called a grenade as well.
Oh. Fucking Duolingo over here.
PETA. But on this day, a foreign force has been welcomed to the city, and they have taken control. There cheering was a crowd of Nicaraguan priests, merchants, peasants, who stood gathered with American fugitives, farmers, temperance activists, abolitionists, pro-slavery advocates, European socialists, Cuban independence fighters, and more.
Pro-slavery advocates?
Yeah, we're small but mighty.
1856, remember?
Shut the fuck up.
1856. And they were all there for the same reason. Despite their differing backgrounds, they were all cheering for the same reason. The inauguration of their new president, an American by the name of William Walker.
Billy Walker.
It was the first time in the history of the United States that citizens seized control of a nation outside the continental United States.
Nice.
And it would not last long.
Shit.
Oh.
This is that story.
Billy
Gentlemen.
Walker.
So a little background here. The middle 1800s, European expansion was headed to Africa and Asia. American expansion having taken all of the continental United States, purchased, stolen, etc. Manifest Destiny was not taken up until 1845 when President Polk used that term as justification for his expansion. He did not coin that term. It's actually coined by a journalist. And so using that, Polk headed into Mexico, the Mexico-American War, 1846 to 1848. And then some skirmishes overseas, further into Central America.
I love a good skirmish.
And this continued until the Civil War, when the United States said, we might as well fight ourselves first.
Yeah.
Now, with the U.S. seizure of California from Mexico, and the president's announcement in December of 48 that gold had been discovered, in 1949, there was, of course, the 49ers, the land...
Sun's Mill.
And so there was a search for the fastest route west, because the railroad had not yet been built.
Yeah.
And so there were two options were created. One was through Panama, but there is another one that was through Nicaragua. And what you do is on the east coast of Nicaragua there's the Rio San Juan, and you take that up to the Lake Nicaragua, and you would take you ride up around the edge of it up into Granada or something, and then you'd cross the land, and then you'd hop back into the Pacific. And
I'll take your word for it, man.
it's true. Now, Nicaragua itself was at this time in the midst of a little bit of a war, a civil war. In 1821, Spain dissolved their kingdom of Guatemala, which contained Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Nicaragua joined the First Mexican Empire, and then when that was overthrown, joined the provinces of Central America, and then 38 became its own nation. What followed was a couple decades of infighting between the conservative elites and the liberal, rural poor.
Folk,
Yeah.
Peasants.
And actually, liberal elites too. It's like these two groups of elites fighting each other. And as this happened, various poor
Casualties of the poor. And
but local Indians and urban poor ended up revolting against the elites. And so there's just various forms of chaos going through this country. And, as these U.S. transients would go through, they would write letters home, and all the U.S. papers were saying these are half-breed savages down there, just, completely ignoring their own, history of the United States. So the liberal elites in Nicaragua, they looked to the northern non-slave states of the United States as their kind of style of representative democracy. And there was a hope that the U.S. might annex Nicaragua so they could bring that to Nicaragua. Now, the conservatives, they wanted to, and this is my main source is Empire by Invitation by Michel Gobat, and then various New York Times and newspapers.com's articles. And Gobat writes, the conservatives wanted to create a centralized state dominated by oligarchs who valorized whiteness.
Sounds
And
pretty American.
the British had control of one coast on the east, and the elites believed that if the U.S. annexed Nicaragua, they could kick the British out. And then what would happen is the U.S. would then build a canal through Nicaragua, and that would bring untold wealth to all the elites who would own land
You
where
gotta
the
pay the
canal
toll.
was.
Yeah.
And so,
But we're also making part of your country the sea.
yes, but it is worth it in a way.
See,
Vote sea.
Now, there was one American man who took it upon himself to, without a canal, to help the aid of the 49ers trying to pass through, and that was Commodore Vanderbilt.
of the Vanderbilt.
Yes.
Anderson Cooper's great-great-grandfather or some shit.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Gloria Vanderbilt's son.
And
Jesus.
so what he did is he invented or created a steamboat line. So when you would ride up the Rio San Juan, you would then get on one of his steamboats and you would take it like due west across Lake Nicaragua, and then there was a short transit road. Then you would take that road, and they found that it was actually it was 2 days faster than the Panama route.
Nice.
Wow.
And by 1853, it's taking 2,500 transients a month. And that's as popular as the Panama route, slightly faster.
And how much money would they be getting from this?
Well, the Nicaraguans, nothing.
Good deal.
The Vanderbilts ask the universe.
Yes. And so here, I'll show you a little picture here. And of course, all these pictures will be on the Patreon.
Show me a little picture, will you, Matt?
Hey, look at that.
So that's what we're. Wow.
So you see the route on the bottom is the Vanderbilt route.
Yes.
And so it's much quicker because you got to get back in the ocean.
You gotta, dude.
Yeah, dude, you got to dive back in.
Yeah. And so that was what was in play. And what Vanderbilt did is he did everything he could to keep the money he made out of the hands of the locals.
Smart.
Now, the locals also still prospered by the fact that so many people were passing through.
Yeah.
They needed to stay places. They needed to buy things.
get food.
Yes.
Lamentations of the women.
And
Oh, yeah.
I like Mosquito Kingdom. That sounds like a cool place.
yes, I think that's where the British were set up.
Yeah.
Which
They do well.
Dreadful place, I'm afraid.
Let us set up permanent station here.
Yeah. I think these vampiric bloodsuckers would be better off with a monarchy.
Yes. Let's teach them to be civilized parasites.
In a way, I consider myself a mosquito of the world.
Yes, I can have a bit of bloodsucker myself. I do love this arid climate in my long sleeves and turtleneck.
Yes. These winged creatures hopping from nation to nation, draining the
Spreading
blood.
disease among the population. What's not to love?
very relatable. Very relatable.
Reminds me of me.
Now, these as these Americans passed through with their money, Americanization became popular in Nicaragua to the point where the country started becoming whiter. The children started becoming whiter. Some Nicaragua.
Huh. Take a guess, John.
Oh.
Some Nicaraguan families would rent out their daughter under the rule that if she had a child, her family got to keep the kid.
Oh my
Because they became a status thing to be white now.
Yeah.
Because as there was so much money coming in from white people.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I mean, that goes to that. It still exists.
Yes.
And I'm sure all those men were protesting that a lot.
Yeah.
You mean you get to keep them?
So
I get to nut. I get to slob with a nut.
She slobbers the nut. And you're saying,
and then I leave Han Solo.
Luke.
yeah, I think we got a deal.
Yeah.
But more than racial Americanization, American culture also permeated. Oh, Susanna became a popular song down there. Polka became a popular dance, and bowling became a popular game.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Now in 51, Vanderbilt finishes his route. 53, it's taking 2,500 people a month. And the gold rush also gave Europeans opportunities to create their own colonies in Central America. And also there were a lot of European immigrants would go to America, and a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment was there.
Yeah.
So they would then go to Central America and start their own colonies there, and a lot of black men too, because there was people who were anti-slavery some of them also believed that maybe the blacks should just all go somewhere else, and then even Lincoln had an idea of this. Frederick Douglass said that the black people go down there are basically selling out the black people who are still slaves in the country, in America. And he later quipped that if so many black people were going to Nicaragua, it might become
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Black guy.
Agua.
That's what I read.
Black guy water.
I mean, it's not the first time someone's thought that.
It's the first time I came across my mind.
I mean, it's the earliest I've seen it.
I need to see you with a map.
Niger.
Oh, boy.
It's a country.
I know it's a country.
So is Nigeria. It's one of the most populous countries on the earth.
You said it,
It's
neighbor.
number 4.
Is it?
I believe so. India, China, United States, Indonesia, Nigeria.
Not Pakistan?
Pakistan's like this big, dude. Look at a map.
That's how this all started.
My bad.
So I think Nigeria is like 5. I think it's got like 250 million people, man.
Fuck.
All right, well, keep track at home. Now, before we move
Vagos.
on, before we move on any further, we need to take a step back and discuss the term filibuster.
Yes.
Now, we know today is this term about American politics,
Yeah.
but the original word is derived from the Spanish filibustero, and it entered English language about the 1850s. The English, their version of the word was freebooter. And basically what it is it's someone who takes on, they are their own mercenary. They decide to go into other countries to take it over or become the king, or they raise their own army and they go.
That's the original meaning.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Like Roland the Headless Thompson gunner or some shit.
Yeah, the two-headed dog.
Yeah, the two-headed dog.
Yeah, I think Bill Bryson talks about filibuster in his book, I think maybe 1927 or something like that. The great Bill Bryson does a good thing on filibuster. Anyways,
Yes.
non sequitur. Sorry.
Unauthorized military expeditions. And the United States had a rule about this. It was illegal for citizens to do this
Right.
because they didn't want to cause problems in other countries.
Sure, that might happen, yeah.
We have enough of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the government themselves.
Yeah.
we have the monopoly on
Yeah.
filibuster.
We want to cause our own problems.
Yes, it is the Neutrality Act. That's
But
what
it is that thing, too, where you're like, you think about the country more, in its infancy, and you're going like,
Just a bunch of cowboys going out.
everybody's got guns, and they're just
and
seeing...
then some people don't. And then you
Yeah.
go out and
Yeah.
fuck them up.
Yeah, and the American government's going like, listen, we don't want you just going in and taking over places. That's our job.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And it'd hurt our feelings if we found out it was our fellow Americans doing it.
Yeah. Without our backing.
You didn't fill out the required paperwork.
That's true. There is. You got to do that. So, now we get to William Walker. He was born in 1824 in Nashville, Tennessee. At the age of 14, he graduated summa cum laude from the University of Nashville.
Hey.
Got a medical degree at the University of Pennsylvania. Studied medicine in Scotland, where his father had emigrated from Germany. And regarding his views on slavery, and this will become important, his parents employed free blacks, very rare in Nashville at the time. In Philadelphia, he lived near one of the largest free black communities in the nation. Europe at that time was a hotbed of anti-slavery sentiments.
Yes, very progressive.
In 1845, he returns to the U.S.
How convenient for them.
Yes. In 1845, he returns to the U.S. He works at the New Orleans Crescent newspaper, embracing the free soil movement. Anytime there's a new state added to the nation, it is a free state. And he wrote in the newspaper, "Our only object can be to preserve the slave property we possess. We can never hope, even if we wished it, to extend slavery to New Mexico or California. Whenever we become the propagandists of slavery, we jeopardy the right we at present possess." And a few years later, in 48, Europe goes through the largest revolutionary period in its history, known as the Springtime of the Peoples. 50 countries are affected by largely uncoordinated, largely eventually suppressed revolutions.
Damn.
And it's all suppressed by 49. But the reforms that are eventually pushed through, largely by the people that fought against the revolutions, but were still in power, and they did eventually push through.
They need to pacify the people.
Yeah. Freedom of the press, more democratic government participation, economic rights for the bourgeoisie, and in 2 or 3 decades, that would happen. But at the time, the revolutions were seen as a failure. But there were a lot of guys still angling for a fight.
Good guys.
Yeah.
Solid guys.
And so Walker sees this revolution in 48 happen over there, and he says, he comes to the conclusion that it's now the United States' job to, quote, convert the world to democracy. And he decides that he's the guy to do it.
Nice.
And he thinks that the United States can take over Central America and make New Orleans the capital of this supercontinent.
Ah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so in 1850, he joins the gold rush. He works at a newspaper as a newspaper editor in San Francisco. And he comes to believe in the American settlers' ability to create a multicultural and very moralist society. Somehow he believes that in San Francisco. He stated his belief in women's suffrage equality, but also in lynching criminals, a fair society run by the sword, and he began to believe he was the guy to do this.
You know, I think I might have a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
Right?
I like my brain. It's a good brain. I got a fine brain.
Leaving it there.
So in 1854, Walker, he writes that the Mexicans are an indolent and half-civilized people who had failed almost entirely to develop the resources nature has placed at their command. And so he forms a group of filibusters to take Baja California, Mexico.
Okay.
Let's go.
And he,
Cabo's waiting, baby. They got Marlin.
and he takes it over very briefly, and he calls himself the president of the Republic of Lower California. Him and his guys were on the run the whole time.
Yeah.
But the declaration itself makes big news in the U.S., and he starts becoming a famous filibuster.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Land pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
land pirate, yeah.
I like that.
I like piracy, but I don't like to sail.
I'm a landlubber. I get seasick out there. And I miss my mom and pa. Well, the women down here are just great. They're muy bueno.
And he also briefly takes over Sonora, Mexico.
Oh.
And again, is run out of town, but he's famous for having taken.
I got it.
Yeah.
I'll be back. Bye.
See you later.
This is all my shit. They're like, hey, get the fuck out of here.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I don't speak Spanish.
Don't touch my stuff.
So he becomes a famous filibuster. Like, he's being regarded as the king of the filibusters because of these 2 expeditions. Doesn't matter that he's not in control anymore. He's still alive. He did a thing, and he's not a large man. He's about 5'5".
Oh,
Here's a picture of him taken in Matthew Brady's.
Ha!
Oh my God!
What a
It's
dandy.
great. It's great that we're doing this back to back with the 5'5" Jack Unterweger. It's like
same guy.
yeah, they basically look the same. It's kind of fucking nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where were you in 19?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Austria?
I consider myself a filibuster of the red light district. Okay.
Yes. And so, because of his fame, this group of there are some Americans fighting with the Nicaraguans on the liberal side in the Civil War, and one of the Americans, a guy named Byron Cole, he offers to invite Walker down to fight on their side, and they all go, "Oh fuck yeah! They got this famous American guy."
Presidente?
Yeah, we want Americanize this place. We want the U.S. to give us power so we can take over.
Yeah.
And
White seed.
here's a famous land pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And he's got chutzpah.
yeah, and because some of these Nicaraguans are hoping that the U.S. will annex.
So you gotta really pronunciate. You gotta really.
You hear what you want to hear.
We both looked at.
I know. I saw you. You hear what you want to hear. These Central American folks.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Some of them are hoping that the U.S. will annex the country.
Annex.
Annex, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, now you. Oh, any other notes on pronunciation, John?
Well, I mean,
I'm kidding. No, you're right about one of them. So Walker accepts the proposal, and he initially has to postpone his trip because he got injured his foot in a duel.
What?
oh my God.
Yeah. He has a couple. He has a
I tripped and shot a guy.
Yeah. Well, he has.
I drew a little too early.
He does this. That's his. He fights 3 duels. That one he's injured in. One of them, nothing happens. One of them, he's shot in the leg. After he shoots at the guy 5 times and misses. The other guy shoots at him and hits him in the leg, and
God damn it.
call it a truce.
The fucking. I
You
mean,
in, partner.
yeah. I mean, you did a great episode on dueling, but
Yeah.
man, it is still a part of me that goes like,
Stop it.
I cannot believe this was a regular part of society.
All the way up until John Wick 4.
Yeah.
I mean, to this very day.
to this very day. Yeah.
It almost sounded like John Wilkes Booth, maybe. Yeah, John Wick 4. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great.
Spoiler.
It's great. It's great though that you can just hold your suit jacket open and it
Yeah.
stops bullets.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Yeah, they never account for that.
Like that's how Kevlar works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a curtain. It must be the iron. That's what the Iron Curtain is.
Yeah.
So eventually Walker gets over his foot injury from the duel, and he accepts and he heads down. He lands in Rialejo.
Rialejo?
Thank you. Okay. In June 1855, he has 59 filibusters with him, among them a Hawaiian, an Irishman, Chilean, African-American cook, and the rest of them are white guys.
What? This is a fucking real. This is a motley crew of folks.
Yeah. There's 5 minorities and
Yeah.
and the rest are white guys.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, if there was more of them, they wouldn't be a minority.
Very good.
They bring along an Irishman, Jesus Christ, to Nicaragua, beautiful country.
And then
Beautiful.
The sun.
Ah, for God's
Cook's
sake!
black.
I don't like that mosquito kingdom now.
I don't like.
I do not like
I
that.
don't like the cook.
Stop that!
I don't know why. I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about it. I don't know. Just a,
Stop that! You
what?
can't say the Irish guy is racist.
Oh, and he's not.
Maybe.
They're racist against their own people.
So unlike his excursion into Mexico, Walker does not insult the local populace before he goes down there.
Smart.
And he's
Fuck
great.
y'all. Be back soon.
Yeah. Well, he says, fuck y'all, I'm staying. He says he's greeted with cheers and church bells, and when they yell hurrah, the local citizens yell hurrah. It's this whole big, beautiful thing. And the radicals in the liberal party that he's joining, they would become his biggest backers, and they would kind of allow his filibusters just to do whatever they want, which is not a big deal when there's 59 of them. He also gets a backer, this man named Jose Maria Valle, a.k.a. El Chalon.
Valle.
Yeah, Valle. And thank you. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
John.
What?
And this guy is well known in Nicaragua as a champion for poor, indigenous, and mulatto communities, and he claimed Walker would bring democracy and equality to the place. And so with this local connection, this guy's building up support for Walker among the local people. And in August of 55, Walker, with 45 filibusters, 125 native troops, goes to San Juan del Sur, seizes the transit road, that little slip of land, because if you have that, you basically...
Give me that.
You have the most important strip of land in Nicaragua at that time. And the plan, once he had it, was to then recruit American transients who were coming through. So you can say, you can go look for gold later, but right now, don't you want to fight for freedom or something?
Don't you want to spread some seed?
Yeah. They're renting people out here.
God damn it.
And
Simpler times, man. Simpler times. We can't go back, John, as much as you want.
Shut the
We
fuck
can't
up.
go back to those times. And I know you think about all that. What period of time would I go back to? And as much as you wish me, I wish
Try as I might.
you can't be Cher.
Yeah.
You can't
No.
turn back time.
Oh, yeah.
John, the bidets back then were just a man with a hose.
Oh, you could still get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
You can still get a human bidet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Just
Yeah.
a man spitting water on your ass.
Who says it has to be water?
Who
A man pissing on your ass.
Who says it has to be a man?
Yeah.
I think a woman could be a human bidet just as much as any man.
Hey, a
That's
donkey could be
equality.
a human bidet. That's all I care. I need a little more tough stream.
Hey, jackass.
Hey,
Check this ass. So October of 85, the lead commander of the Liberal armies, General Munoz, he's killed in battle or assassinated. No one's sure. And the president of the Liberal Party, Francisco Castellón, he dies of cholera. So now there's no one above Walker. So the general of the army, the president of the party, they both die, and Walker's the next guy that everybody's looking to.
he's the aggressive top.
Yeah.
Down top.
Yeah. He has no challengers. He has no moderators. And the conservative army, they think Walker is going to attack Granada by land. And they amass 1,000 troops all over the road. And instead, he leads 450 men. He commandeers the Vanderbilt steamship.
Uh-oh.
He commandeers the Commodore's steamship. And
It's a good band.
he sails around all the men on the road straight to Granada, and he captures the city. He orders the conservatives to surrender, and to prove that he means business, he executes the foreign minister.
Ooh.
Not a lot of people like that move, but the conservatives do surrender to him.
Yeah, you got to make a statement.
And
When you're a little twinkie guy like that, you got to show them business.
yeah. And so he, after he takes the city, he refrains from mass killings of conservatives and elites and orders his men not to sack the mansions. And so this gives credence to this idea that he had been promoting, that he was there to reconcile the two sides. And the elites go, oh, this is good, and they offer him the presidency.
That is smart.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
He turns down the presidency, instead offers it to a puppet president, Patricio Rivas. And so he will be the de facto president, but he's like, Rivas, you're the president now. Because he's thinking, in order for this to get recognized by America, I shouldn't be president yet.
Right.
So does he just draw like a little mustache on his
Dios mío!
No strings on me. What say you, dummy? Hey, you're the dummy. One of those kind of things.
Yeah.
His lips move for a little while. His lips are moving. I can see it. This guy's good. He's drinking water. Yet the president still talks. I love this guy, man. You know he didn't kill all of us. You know that?
Yeah.
He's tough but fair.
So Walker also, he does he ensures his power a little bit as much as he can. At one point he intercepts correspondence from one of his generals, the government of El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, who was trying to work with them to expel the filibusters. And this general had thought that he had tricked Walker and could control him because they were both Freemasons.
Oh, they did the secret handshake or whatever.
But Walker wasn't a Freemason. He just thought he was.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait. Walker thought he himself was?
No.
Oh, the other guy was.
Walker was, yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm a Freemason.
Yeah.
I consider myself.
I mean, I got the decoder ring and everything.
Yeah.
The cracker jack box. I mean.
So
this
does
general...
he make an example of him?
Yeah, so Walker discovers this, and in the letters, the general had written that we have beaten the liberals with their own cock.
Oh, God.
And this general was
Feels so good.
Even though it's your own, it still feels like someone else.
Yeah. Hands upside down.
We've beaten them with their own.
It's
such a funny sentence.
It's a great line.
It's such a funny sentence.
Hey, who's hitting me? Oh, me?
How's it going? Everything? Oh, we've beaten the liberals with their own cock.
They don't seem to mind.
Now we've got something of a mess on our
Yeah. And the crazy thing about these liberals is they love it. Stronger than ever.
So Walker orders his execution in public in the square in Granada, and he's executed. But this general is also hugely popular, and so after he's killed, locals storm and they cut locks of his hair off and take him home. But this is Walker's last close rival, and so he further solidifies his own power of the party over the elites and the conservatives. And so anybody left only backs him even more now. And the Rivas government is then officially recognized by the U.S. and European envoys, and the local elites thought this would then bring that canal they've been asking for.
Gotta get that canal.
You gotta have that canal. And the Walker regime initially does start rebuilding the country and passing reforms, like
Puppet suffrage.
yeah.
One puppet, one vote.
But
the Muppets get it too.
So
No Muppet.
No. Yeah, it was a racist time.
Yeah.
I'm a puppet, not a Muppet.
So the country itself now has a level of stability it hasn't had in decades because the Civil War is over. But what happens is the other countries in Central America start seeing this as a warning sign for them. And they worry that if Americans can do that there, what's going to stop them from doing that in all of our countries?
Right.
Yes.
And so Costa Rica declares war, and Walker then uses this as justification to invade. And he thinks they'll take it in 2 weeks. They immediately get beaten back, and Costa Rica then invades.
Was it with their own cock?
Yeah. They get beaten off. And Costa Rica then invades, and and Costa Rica thinks that when they invade, the local Nicaraguans will actually join their side.
Yes, and they don't understand that they're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
They're drinking the Nicaragua.
Yes.
Hi.
And so Costa Rica gets bogged down, and they are repelled. And this buoys Walker's administration. And also, when the Costa Ricans were in the country, there's a rumor that Walker poisoned the wells with corpses. And the army gets just absolutely devastated by cholera. So much that when they go back to Costa Rica, there's a cholera epidemic throughout Costa Rica. 10% of the population dies.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Poisoning wells. Tale as old as time.
Yeah.
But even just the large rains down there was a big would create big problems just for armies anywhere.
Yeah, you're shitting everywhere. Then
Yeah.
you don't have a. You're not,
Yeah.
didn't bring their.
The mosquitoes have a
guns.
kingdom.
Yeah.
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 And they're expanding.
Yeah. Yeah, they really don't.
There's
They
golden age of mosquito.
do not respect
Imperial.
borders at all.
None.
None.
Do they see a patch of skin? Patch of land? They're going in for the kill.
Fucking eminent domain, baby.
So
Collar doesn't get you the malaria well.
now Franklin Pierce was the president of the United States at the time, and he was not a fan of William Walker.
I do not like this man.
Because in 54, President Pierce was negotiating the Gadsden Purchase of buying what would become Arizona and New Mexico from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And Walker's his invasion of Sonora meant forced Pierce to have to buy less land than he had planned. The United States would be actually much bigger if Walker hadn't invaded Sonora.
Like, what else were they going to get?
Sonora.
More of North.
Oh,
Maybe, yeah, but more of northern Mexico, maybe Baja or something, you know.
fucking hell.
Yeah. And
Way to go, Bill. Fucking jackass.
Take your hand out of that fucking puppet.
but in 1856, there's a couple of massacres of American transients passing through Central America. And so public sentiment for Walker and the protection of Americans becomes such a rallying cry that in May of 56, Pierce recognizes the new government as legitimate.
Wow.
And he accepts their envoy to the White House. And this creates, as soon as he does that, it's like when the president said gold was discovered. There's now American citizens and all kinds of people who are looking for something else. They go, this place is legitimate and safe for Americans.
Yep.
And they start heading down to Nicaragua. Yes.
Yeah, let's fuck this up.
So there's American settlers as well as military reinforcements to Nicaragua. And the response of this creates one of the first multinational anti-U.S. campaigns in history. And it's 1856 that the term Latin America first starts being used not as a term for race, but for a continent.
Uh-huh.
And so all of these countries in Central America are now calling themselves using this term as, because they're not Anglos.
Yeah.
Right.
How do we define ourselves from these white people who are showing up that say they live here now?
Yeah.
Yes.
And but this also this creates further popularity for Walker in the U.S. There's a play called Nicaragua, or General Walker's Victories, was a huge hit in America that year. Advertisements began dropping his name in association for soap and all kinds of shit.
Cleaning up Central America.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And 20,000 people show up in New York City for a rally to raise money for him.
Jesus.
Schmucks.
Yeah. And so even in the U.S., though some slave states feared Walker would establish free soil areas instead of slave states. And so what that would mean was that the slave states were now being surrounded by free states, and they felt like
cornered, almost chained.
Yeah. Locked in.
Yeah. Penned.
In bondage. If there's a word for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's so like
it's not fair.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
I want to do what I want, and these guys won't let me.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
I want to live free
Or die hard.
Yeah. My freedom is to hold people in bondage.
Hello.
Now,
What do you think, El Presidente? He's fucking bullshit, man.
Globally, other countries feared President Pierce's embrace of Walker would encourage a sort of global American piracy. Because Pierce had, there's this law against American citizens doing this, and Pierce had instead recognized them.
Flouted it.
Yes.
He did it and got legitimized.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So are you saying that Pierce is going back on recognizing him?
no, other countries are worried about Pierce doing this.
Yes.
And one of them says, the U.S. has ceased to be the model republic. The beacon and hope for all friends of progress has become an object of universal fear. And plus, also, the American expansion threatened European expansion in these areas.
Right.
So,
yes.
the British weren't really that happy about it. They had mosquito coasts and kingdoms.
Yeah. Can you believe these bloody Americans going around taking over other countries?
First it's our Mosquito Kingdom, next it'll be the Cholera Gulch. What say you, El Presidente? It's fucking bullshit, man! I concur. Well met.
It's the only thing he says is...
Yeah.
It's fucking bullshit,
Man. Let's take a break.
Yeah, that's a good place.
I gotta feed him lines. That's the only thing he says. We'll be right back, folks. And we're back.
Thank you, Gonad.
I'm Slob of the Nut, and this is the Presidente.
So,
Can you guys see him?
if you're listening at home, Aaron is drawing a face on the hand now.
Very poorly, I might add. These fucking guys, not left hand.
Oh, man, I think it's just jacking you up.
Oh, I can't wait.
Your deep throat.
It's gonna be cool. Oh my god!
You made your own deep throat.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
It's not that deep. It's not 5 fingers.
it's like the Nicaraguan president is sucking my dick in reverse.
What?
Because
I'm going to
it's
beat
coming
you.
out.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming out of his throat.
No, it's that. What was that porno with the
Oh, pussy face?
pussy neck? With the neck.
God damn, we did some dumb shit.
We got to get Jim Powers on.
We'll continue.
Yeah, so yeah. One of the first guests in the studio will be Jim Powers for sure.
I don't want him to know where I live.
You don't have to tell him you live there. We'll just say, we'll just say we filibustered the front yard.
Filibustering.
Yeah, that'll be his next movie.
Yeah. Okay. So, also I should say the term Latin America that became more recognized because the South American countries were also kind of ignoring what the Americans were doing, and the Central American countries were saying, "Guys, you gotta fucking
pay attention."
They're coming for you next.
And so the South Americans then recognizing what the Americans were doing is when the term Latin America then started, being used more often.
Interesting.
And
They all speak Latin, of course.
yes, Dan Quayle believes that still. Now,
I met a
Dan Quayle?
I met a Mexican lady who thought that people in Latin America speak Latin.
That's not good.
I was like, "What are you out of your fucking?"
I mean, they're just like us. Some of them are dumb.
Yeah, I guess we're all the same.
I mean, e pluribus unum.
So after President Pierce recognizes the government, after his announcement, newspapers across the U.S. are promoting moving there. 5,000 men in New York the next day sign up to move there.
Good God.
I mean,
You all mad at this fucking shithole.
they're gonna pay me to spread my fucking white seed all over the fucking
I don't even
place.
gotta see the kid.
I just gotta seed the kid.
Yeah.
Am I right? Hey, Carmine, let's go out.
Carmine's such a good choice.
Let's fucking go down to Nicaragua and go bust our fucking nuts. Well, yeah, we got time for a quick slice.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the pizza down here is shit, though.
Yeah, they don't have any good sauce.
Yeah.
So
Mosquitoes are running the place.
Oh, bro.
so by the end of the year, 12,000 Americans would move there. And that's not counting the people that were already following Walker there before that.
Can you imagine if they find that there's pussy on the moon? How many guys will go?
It's not just the pussy, Aaron.
To us, it is.
Yes, okay.
To us,
Yeah.
You're talking about roads and canals.
Yeah. There's a canal there too. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, but it's,
They'll find gold there too.
fugitives, young people,
Yeah, people are gonna go to the moon for that.
Yeah.
a new life.
Yes.
There's no sheriff on the moon.
No rules, man. Just El Presidente.
Just good crater vag.
Look at me, the gravity is 1/4 the Earth. I'm jumping.
Yeah. It really boosts your golf game.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So in May of '56, Walker he repels an invasion by Guatemala and El Salvador's forces. He only pushes them as far back as Leon, which is Leon.
Is it L-E-O-N?
Yeah,
Leon.
Leon. Okay, good. Leon. And that is it's north of Granada, and the soldiers then just stay there. He doesn't push them out of the country. He just pushes them back there because Walker doesn't have a ton of soldiers. Mm-hmm. He has enough, and at the time when they
which soldiers is he pushing there?
the Guatemalan and El Salvador forces that came to.
He's keeping them at bay.
Yes, and when he initially moves down there, his American soldiers A lot of them veterans of the Mexican War. They have their guns are a little bit better, but eventually, by the end of everything, the Central Americans have gotten weapons of equal power. And also, it should be added that a lot of the Europeans that had revolted in '48, a lot of them are still itching for a fight. There's a lot of them who are part of Walker's group.
Oh.
It's a very multinational group.
Why are they looking for a fight?
Because they didn't win in Europe.
Got it.
Maybe they can win.
Interesting.
I want some lead in their pencil, dude.
Yeah.
God damn it. By golly, I just want to kill people.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And Walker is seen as bringing this new equality and vision and land for these people too. There's a thing that they offer white people, but Americans are offered 250 acres and a farm to move down there.
Jesus.
So there's all these incentives for them to move down there. There is work.
Would you go to the Would you go to the moon for that?
I don't want that good moon land.
Okay.
Just on the subject of the bringing the people together and stuff. It's one of those things that's interesting because they do have the force to bring more money, not necessarily equalizing. Like the bourgeois is still the bourgeois. So it's one of those things where everybody can get on board because it's more money for everyone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And more equality for some than others.
Yes.
Right, but it is a thing where you go like, oh yeah, like so far aside from the factors of outside forces, I can see what he's doing within Nicaragua as being like, oh yeah, this will work.
Yes. And and to echo Aaron's point for white people, like, white Europeans, they're all poor white Europeans can't get up in Europe.
Yeah.
But they show up and they get kicked out of America for being immigrants, but they can go down to Nicaragua.
Yes.
And they're riding high on the hog, baby.
Yeah.
So in July 1856, puppet puller no more, Walker, he has a newspaper, and using that as a bullhorn, he sets about reworking the election system, which was basically the elites were their own electoral college and would choose the president. And what he says, no, all Nicaraguans should vote, especially the new settlers.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them new settlers then vote multiple times. Walker declares himself the winner of the presidency. Rivas flees off to Leon, and but the act of this hurts his standing with the native Nicaraguans because they see, okay, that's a little bit much.
It's a takeover.
Yeah. And also now there's even more Americans arriving. And the average soldier in Walker's army was 26, white from a working class background, northern. About 30% were southern, 30% were European, 20 from white collar occupations, clerks, bankers.
Wow.
It wasn't all ruffians. They had names like Colonel William Cassane, George Wilkes, Israel Moses, Sarah Pellet. She was an abolitionist. Julius Froebel, Maximilian von Sonnenstern, Charles Frederick Hensington.
Good guys.
Yeah. And
Good names.
the colonists also it included abolitionists and pro-slavery folks. The colonists shared similar demographic breakdowns. There was a group of German socialists, a gymnast society, French revolutionaries, Polish Democratic Society, Cuban Democratic Athenaeum, Irish militiamen, 30 families from Switzerland.
Wow.
It was just people going, I can't get the thing here. Maybe I can get it over there.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Sounds cool, man. If you're those people, it's like, oh, damn, it's tropical weather,
But
mosquitoes.
the abolitionists believed that Walker was going to make a free state. The pro-slavery people believed Walker was
Gonna make a slave state.
yeah. And so at some point, you have to, the rubber is the road at some point. You have to make some choices. But we're not there yet. Of course, there was a criminal element that also showed up.
Yeah.
Among, not just the fugitives and so, there was a group of 25 Texas Rangers who just showed up to pillage just as much as they could. They spent a week going town to town, ransacking everything they could until just a group of local Nicaraguan and French miners just killed them all.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Walker's newspaper called it merited retribution.
I like merited retribution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good phrasing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like not a great Kevin Spacey movie, but now after Walker takes over, he does attempt to continue down this path of a functioning state. And initially he declares popular reforms such as ending military conscription, reducing taxes, granting pensions to war invalids, the relatives of fallen soldiers, and promised to respect the autonomy of rural communities, and even worked with conservatives to gain their trust by allying with the Catholic Church. Now, liberals in Latin America were trying to curb the influence of the church, but Walker himself recognized that he could use the priests to end revolts and promote his filibusters as godly men.
Smart.
Very.
It always helps when God's on your side.
I mean,
Couldn't hurt.
It's not going to hurt.
No.
Unless he's angry.
Unless you're Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
That'll hurt.
Yeah, he seemed fine with it.
I guess.
He rose.
The fire rises.
And Walker declares an agenda of improving transportation, bringing in more U.S. settlers, promoting education, temperance, public hygiene, and a bold plan to turn Granada into a Nicaraguan Venice. And he also has his men conduct what is the most thorough mapping of the country until the early 20th century.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah. Though
Gotta have maps.
Yes. I mean, the maps, not all of Nicaragua had been thoroughly mapped, and he is the German man. I believe it's Maximilian von Sonnenstern. And all those names I read, I will touch on them in a Patreon because they all have
Good stories.
yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, man like Israel Moses. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Oh boy.
He does not like Maximilian von
No,
Sonnenstern. Chances
and he
are.
doesn't like him either.
No. But yeah, the German guy is like, I want to
I mean, they
make
were probably both Catholic,
the most thorough mapping, you know.
And I'd like to make a list of all the people with names.
Yeah.
But Walker's regime is running out of money. He's constantly asking for the United States for money, and they're not giving it to him. There are groups in the United States that are raising money for him, but it's not enough. So he forces the elites to contribute money. But with his idea of reducing taxes and the instability of the country, it's very hard for him to collect enough money in taxes. And then he makes a very poor choice. Vanderbilt's transportation line, it was about $500,000, about $18 million today, behind on payments. And Walker then seizes it and sells it. And in response to this, Vanderbilt then sends a couple of envoys to Costa Rica to see if they can figure out how to overthrow this guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you say, chaps? That fellow over there in Nicaragua making you look bad. Will I give you guys some guns?
So that's an interesting thing too, right? We got to look at like this guy. In a way, you could say there's the filibustering is fine if you do it with the dollar. You know what I mean?
Like Vanderbilt?
Yeah. It's a thing when you go like
economic filibustering.
economic filibustering. But if you go like, if you plant a flag, then people go like, oh, no. What you want to do is have a company.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then,
You know?
it's not like Vanderbilt was making the locals rich.
Yeah.
Right. No, yeah, 100%. And this guy was.
Walker?
Yes.
Well, he's making
other people rich.
But he's bringing more economic shit to the country.
Yes, I mean, it seems like
I'm not saying the peasantry was riding high on the hog.
Right.
But I think they were getting something more than they were getting before, and it was a thing that probably...
Or at least promises of something more than they
But
did
they
before.
also had the burdens...
And it was not, and Vanderbilt wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, but they also had the burdens of, like you said, this seemingly endless invasion of people from all over the world.
Yeah. And so to raise more funds, Walker then seized the holdings of the elite, taking 132 estates, 82 houses with a plan to auction them off.
Cool.
For the poor, Walker then went on a campaign denouncing their, quote, idleness, gambling, drunkenness, debauchery, and unbridled immoral sexual behavior.
You can't. These are your people, man.
And what starts to happen is Walker lets himself get pulled in these directions of all of these groups he's trying to hold the support of.
Yeah, but it seems like he's vilifying both sides now.
Well, so that act is him siding with the Granada Sons of Temperists, Granada Sons of Temperance, which is mostly U.S. natives, who persuaded him to sober up the colonists and ban the sale of liquor and close the bars.
These guys did not go down there to stop drinking. I'll tell you that.
Nope. But some of his followers went down there thinking they could create this place,
a sober utopia.
Yeah, keep dreaming, pal.
and so in order to
Take that
appease
shit down to Jonestown when they buy that bullshit.
in order to appease his evangelical followers, Walker orders all of his officers and soldiers to attend divine worship, and he uses his newspaper to announce the natives as half-breeds and inferiorly developed.
Oh God!
Did they read?
Damn it!
Were they reading the newspaper?
I mean, probably some of them.
I guess, yeah. But it's kind of one of those things where, like, if you write in the newspaper that illiterates are dumb,
they'll never be offended.
yeah.
Someone might tell them.
That's
Yeah.
Well, I think word will get around.
Yeah.
I think word will get around.
El Presidente? My lips are sealed.
It's fucking bullshit.
It's fucking bullshit.
In September of 56, he orders the arrest of all vagrants.
All vagrants?
Yeah.
Not even like the one cool one?
Yeah. Well, he's not a vagrant. He's just like...
He's Fred.
Yeah. He's just hanging out. He's just hanging out.
He just doesn't have to play stay right now.
I'm just kind of in between stoops. I'm stoop surfing.
Yeah.
And not long after that, Walker's paper announced that because the native Nicaraguans were too idle, in order to bolster the economy, the administration was going to allow the importation of slaves.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And he was likely doing this to gain support from U.S. slaveholders. He needed their money. And also their rivals who were anti-slavery. Because by doing this, it would remove the black population from the U.S. Because even the anti-slavery folks were still racist. They were like, we don't want slaves, but we also don't want black people here because they're competing with white people for jobs.
Right.
And so what if they all went down there? And so this is Walker's move to, again, try to hold these coalitions together in support of him because he needs their money.
So crazy.
Trying to please everybody.
But Walker didn't realize that by making that slavery decree, Nicaragua had declared slavery, slavery was done there in 1824.
Oh.
And by making this announcement, he only strengthened the coalition of Central American countries who are going like, look, guys, see what happens if the Americans show up?
They make slaves again.
Yeah. And so in September, the Nicaraguan conservatives ally with Hondurans and local Indians, and they rout a group of filibusters in Jacinto. Jacinto. Thank you, Christ. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's okay.
No.
And
That's what he's there for.
yeah, I know. I feel like an ass, though.
See.
You know? I feel like a jacket. San Jacinto.
Yeah.
Thank you. And also, they capture Byron Cole, the man who brought Walker down, invited him down, and they hang him.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
Walker then orders all of his troops to retreat to Granada. And then the Guatemalan and El Salvador troops in Leon, they move towards the city of Granada, capturing cities along the way.
Shit.
And at one point, the Guatemalan troops, Walker thinks that he needs to send a bunch of troops out to stop the Guatemalan troops, and he leaves Granada with just a small garrison. A bunch of Guatemalan troops storm in and basically just fuck around for a bit, pillaging, and they kill 4 American civilians.
Ooh.
And when this happens, it changes the nature of the war for the filibusters from a war for a new country to a racial war.
Oh, fuck.
And in response, they drive the Guatemalans out of the city. They kill the ones that are surrendering.
Damn.
They the discipline that they had shown before was now gone, and they start just killing anybody they want to, and
Including Nicaraguans.
including if they think that they'll go, these guys are working with them, they'll kill them.
Shit.
And this makes Walker now unable to claim that he's there to liberate
Yeah.
Yeah.
and liberate them from barbarian rule and savage despotism, because now he's becoming
Yeah,
guy.
the real cannibals have shown themselves.
yes.
Yeah.
And he feels betrayed by the local Nicaraguans who helped the Guatemalan troops. And in mid-November, the Allied Central American armies are beginning to encircle Granada. And Walker orders all the Nicaraguan followers of his to abandon the capital city, and then he orders it burned to the ground.
Fuck.
And he flees the city the day he makes that order. But the troops in charge of burning it get really drunk that day and can't do it.
It happens to lots of guys.
Yeah, it does.
Have we started the fire? No.
Oh, Billy.
The fire rises.
But in 3 out of 4 men, it doesn't. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to lots of members of the League of Shadows.
Vangelis. Chariots of fire.
So is he ready to escape now? I assume.
So he orders the city burned. He flees that day.
Bye.
The troops in charge of doing it, especially
Got drunk.
they get really drunk. They can't do it that day. The next day it rains.
Very hard to start a fire.
On the third day, they eventually get it started. But before they burn the place down, Walker's men loot the city. They rape women. They kill civilians. From Granada's 8 churches, they stole an estimated up to $500,000. There's one story of a man who had 2 sacks, both 300 pounds. Full. I should have just stopped there. There's a man with 2 sacks. Whoa! Wait a minute.
This guy did a lot of raping, huh?
Jesus Christ.
That's slob of the nut.
That is, yeah.
There's a new sheriff in town on Tatooine.
2 sacks full of 300 pounds of stolen goods.
Oh, Jesus.
They steal up to $500,000, about $18 million today, of stuff from the 8 churches in town.
Is that going to Billy, or is that just like...
No, these are just guys going, I'm taking this home. They also have a mock procession where they rip the altars off the wall of a church, dressed up in robes, and drunkenly paraded through the streets.
Don't have to do that.
No, that's just a waste of time.
Yeah, take the money and run.
Yeah.
Go
I like
on.
the song.
Yeah, you don't have to be like, oh, we're also going to shit on your idols and you know, all that stuff. All good reasons to hang people.
Yeah.
Avoid those.
Opportunity to get caught.
Yeah.
And have merited retribution exacted upon thee.
Well, yeah, but it's one of those things when your armed forces are anybody who wants to can join.
Yeah.
You know, you don't always get the best and brightest.
And the thing is,
It is a private fighter. Can anyone?
you know, money's good and all, but nothing. You're not going to get more lamentations from women than when you start, pissing on a statue or something. You know?
Yeah.
Please, no.
And the raping.
Yeah, that's a darker take.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
But factual.
Yeah. I mean, just
Get out.
get out. Why do you?
First of all, you
in the middle of all this crazy shit, why are you worried about boners?
yeah,
Like-
yeah.
yeah, I mean and you know
I mean, I know it's a weapon of war. It's a fear tactic.
It's also a thing, though, too.
The fog of war. I get it, but dude, don't waste.
But
your time.
you gotta know when you're done too. You've already once you're hemmed into the city, the jig is up.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go oh no, before we flee, we're gonna fuck around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're in the story of the killing of the 4 American civilians. Apparently, some of the Guatemalan troops also raped some of the American civilians.
Oh wow.
But with the filibusters that are in there, they know that the forces that are surrounding them are not going to storm the city. They're just going to wait them out because it's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it for them
Right.
to lose men storming the city.
Yeah.
So they'll just wait them out, and that's why Walker orders it burned, because he knows that these guys can burn it and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they eventually, on the 3rd day, they eventually get it on fire. It burns for 10 days. The fire could be seen 60 miles away.
Shit.
Of the 1,700 houses in the city, only 15 remained.
Fuck.
The general in charge of burning it supposedly wrote in the ashes, "Here was Granada."
Damn.
10 years later, a visitor noted, quote, "The city remained a heap of ruins and was a dream of desolation, a nightmare, horror unspeakable." Fuck. And it took them a long time to rebuild.
Yeah.
And after this happens, Nicaraguans are now abandoning Walker just in droves. Even his his Cuban bodyguards leave him.
Cuban B.
And there's a famous song called Mama Ramona that is from this time and has the lyrics, "Far away came the Yankees in their fancy dress overjoyed, yelling hurrah, hurrah, it's Granada they destroyed."
Damn.
This becomes a very popular tune at the time. The other newspapers in Central America said Granada was a pile of ashes kneaded with blood.
Oh.
And it only reinforced what everybody was thinking: America will just destroy us if they ever come down here. If we ever let them in.
Right. Yeah.
Who could have seen it coming?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a thing there too, where that then was, you know, that was then the motif. It did become colonization by the dollar.
Yeah.
You know, when it was, Pinochet and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not, you know.
Sorry, I'm maybe jumping ahead.
Yeah. So not long after Walker flees, Costa Rican troops capture the transit road and cut off his access to reinforcements from America. He's now in this town, Rivas, down to 900 men, and they're slowly being encircled by enemies. Their clothes are tattered. Some men are fighting nearly naked.
Cool.
As they run out of food, they kill their mules and horses. And of course, this doesn't stop them from harassing the women of Rivas. And the Allied forces of Central America, they start making handbills saying, "Hey guys, we'll help you get home. Flee Walker's army, and we'll help you get home." And sometimes even when they get up to the gates of the city, there are former filibusters yelling to their former fighting partners, saying, "Guys, get out of here! Like, you can come with us. And one of the ways they distributed these handbills was they stuffed them into a human-sized doll made of banana peels mounted on a mule and covered with bombs.
Holy shit, what?
And when the mule walked into Walker's camp, it exploded, sending the handbills everywhere.
Whoa. So the doll
I thought
covered
it
in
was
banana peels?
At first, I
On
thought
a
they were going to
donkey.
trick guys into fucking it. Some kind of weird real doll El Cid situation, you know what I'm saying?
Chiquita bananas.
Wow, I'm sure, boy, I sure like that Chiquita banana lady.
Whoever came up with that plan is
Yeah.
completely out of their mind.
Yeah, let's blow up the paper
It's like
leaflets.
the Picasso of mercenary war or something.
But also the thing about being like, the way we'll try to get you onto our side is
Shock and awe, baby.
Yeah.
a bomb.
Yeah.
And you go like, well, I don't think these guys really are going to take good care of me since they sent this donkey doll covered in banana peels and explosives.
And then everyone's slipping on them.
Yeah.
What?
And
If the bomb doesn't get you,
the donkey dick will.
we beat them to death with our own donkey dicks, man.
I don't know. Who said that?
El
El Presidente in exile, man. He's fucking bullshit. These are fucking my bananas.
So at this point, the things are not going well for Walker. He orders Eddie deserters shot. Some of them are even executed. There's a group of American tourists on a steamer that's passing by, and they see a bunch of his soldiers being executed for deserting as they're just like looking out.
Honey, look.
If you turn to your left,
Look, you can see the excesses of our empire.
growing influence of America. Other soldiers are killed for just being sick or not following orders quickly enough.
That's funny.
There's a story of one man, and this, might be a Vanderbilt exaggeration, but there's a story of one man who stopped to reload his gun, and his commander thought he was chickening out and just shot him.
Oh my God.
That's a well-trained army.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey guys.
So then Walker institutes a system of secret
You tricking yourself off? No, I'm stuffing gunpowder into my barrel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, pal.
Anybody in the bathroom's getting fucking lit up.
Yeah.
So, in order to keep his troops in line, Walker institutes a system of secret espionage, which of course always goes well.
Isn't all espionage secret?
Well, I guess, but it's like, you know, tell me about what everybody's doing. So if it's anybody,
What are these motherfuckers talking about?
yeah.
Its own shit.
And so all of these things, like all of these little things, eventually start reaching the U.S. newspapers. Some of his supporters would still say Vanderbilt is fabricating these. A San Francisco newspaper declares that Walker was committing, quote, white slavery on his own troops and called it, quote, worse than Negro bondage.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a lot of
Because
good
they're
perspective. Yeah, a lot of good perspective.
Yeah.
Perspective.
Still, pro-slavery reinforcements of America are still trying to go down there and help it. Because for the pro-slavery folks, they're going like, it's not going well for us in America.
Yeah.
We're not getting any new slave states.
We still don't want to pay people to work.
Yes. Yeah. So what if we conquered...
That is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
That's
I don't even have a negotiator.
there's no negotiation. It's you're working, I'm not paying.
Yeah.
End of list.
Yeah.
And the idea is not catching on, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because there's big bucks in not paying.
Yeah. All profit.
No downside.
Show me. I mean, guys.
I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah. According to some people today, they were treated
we'll
well.
just take these American jobs overseas and not pay them.
We'll take these American.
So let me ask you this, because
Plenty of African Americans are going to lose their slavery jobs if we just take them over to Nicaragua.
How do you think they'll feel?
Yeah. Now they're gonna have to start working for a living.
You know they hate that.
I tell you, like, this is like, you know, to the credit of fucking around in New York in my grandfather's time. Like, everybody be like, I used to tell black guys, it goes, we used to have to fucking struggle for jobs when we got to this country. You guys got all those cushy jobs on plantations.
Oh my god.
And everybody would laugh. Everybody would laugh. Like, it was.
Well, if you say with an Irish accent, you can get away with it.
And those cushy jobs now.
Oh, those cushy.
Those fancy duds.
You fellas had all them cushy jobs on plantations. Was the job ready for you when you got off the boat?
You got all them fancy jewelry with them chains and whatnot.
So
I got hit with a hurling stick. That's what I got.
That was my dad. But
You got practically made part of the family now. You got the name and everything. Jackson, Jefferson,
Freeman.
40 acres and a mule.
So all I got was a farty mule.
And the aches.
Breaking wind in my mouth every night.
And the aches.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So here's a thing I want to bring up to you.
Okay.
Is all right, so we got the filibusters going down.
Mm-hmm.
They're making a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much at first.
Right.
But then it is Latin American countries, and they're going like, all right, well, we got to put a stop to this. Are they also a little fearful too that America will just join in on this side? Because there is a thing where
on the side of
Pierce,
Yes.
or excuse me,
Walker.
Walker,
Yes.
yeah. But there is a thing where you go like Pierce, like he might fucking just keep manifest destiny going south.
Yeah.
If we are going against one of his, which he has proclaimed to be one of his.
There is a huge fear that if at any point America decides to save their guys,
sweep up. Yeah.
That would fuck everybody up. But at the same time, after what the U.S. did in Mexico, I don't think the president has. There's not a lot of people that want that. And also at the same time, we are very close to the American Civil War. So there's not a lot of people back home want any more troops going anywhere else because
we got to fight ourselves first.
Yeah.
So, but yes,
those jobs overseas.
I mean, what Walker wants is he was recognized, and part of that is, he didn't want the U.S. government annexing the place.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be in charge if that happened.
Right.
But he wanted their support.
Yes. And that's kind of a little bit of one of those economic things too, because the Americans are going, well, he's one of us, and we trust him, and that means now we'll have safe passage, and now the whole fucking gold rush thing can happen faster through here, and he's also going like, I'm an indie guy, my own man, short, self-made,
independent contractor, entrepreneur, techie.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, he really fucked it up pretty badly because, man,
he could have ridden it out.
He really could have ridden it out if he just like, I know, we're getting there, but in hindsight, as we've seen the story so far, would you say part of it was just like him letting everybody in? Like, where do you think it
well,
was?
I think
Where did it all go wrong, man?
Part of it is him trying to, so desperate for money that he's appeasing every single group he can, and completely ignoring what actually the people who were there first wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go against what they want, it makes it easier for them to join the forces of the other countries coming in.
Yeah, you don't want to piss off the Vanderbilts.
When he was able to push the Costa Ricans back, it was because the local Nicaraguans didn't join the Costa Ricans.
Right.
But when the Guatemalans and El Salvadorians are in Leon, the local Nicaraguans eventually go like, okay, you guys we're on your side now. Because he's making these, he's calling
them all savages.
Yeah. And so, if he had just showed up and built the canal, then that would have solved a lot of problems, and he might have been regarded as a great president for them. But he didn't.
So where did we leave off? Did we leave off on the espionage network?
We left off on he has fled to Rivas. There's still a group. There's still pro-slavery Americans still trying to come down and reinforce him.
Anybody here want to work for nothing?
But there's a group of 150 Texans that make their way down.
Great.
But when they get down there, they run into a Costa Rican force, and they try to turn back. And then their steamer explodes and kills 50 of them. Just this beautiful.
It was a banana-shaped man.
Yeah, there's a mule in the river, and there's a group of 250 pro-slavery men from bloody Kansas who made their way down there, but then cowered and fled upon encountering a smaller Costa Rican force. And so, the best and bright, he's not getting.
Yeah.
He's not getting the reinforcements he needs.
Yeah. We didn't know there'd be hills.
This is nothing like Texas.
You didn't say anything about up-down shit.
We're left-right.
Forward, back.
That's it.
We can
Two
handle
dimensions, buddy.
those.
Flat land. We're from Kansas. You got all sorts of ferns and gullies and shit.
Fern gullies.
Mosquitoes. They got an entire kingdom of mosquitoes down here. You know that?
We got tornadoes because they're trying to show us what a hill is.
So eventually Walker's he's losing men, he's losing ground, and eventually he gets close to a U.S. warship. In April of 1857, Walker negotiates with the commander of a U.S. warship.
Get me the fuck out of here, Daddy.
I'll
do anything.
You beat me to death on my cock. I don't care.
And he asked the commander of the U.S. warship to then negotiate with the Central American forces to remove the American women and children that are still there. As they board the boat, like a lot of these people are just completely naked.
Fuck.
They have just...
Nice.
On May 1st, Walker...
So they get on a bunch of naked people get on a boat with some horny sailors.
And imagine going back to the stage and you're like, yo, Nicaragua was wild.
Bro, we were out at sea for like a month, and our prayers were fucking answered. All these naked people started walking on the boat. Holy jeez. I thought it was like a mirage or something, but it turns out it was real.
I saw the chick like Amber Heard taking a deuce off the fucking starboard bow, bro.
It was a fucking ice turd.
Sometimes
Straight ahead.
Usually I have an idea what you guys might. And sometimes it really does surprise me. I just thought it was, just an anecdote to describe how bad it was. But no, I guess.
No.
Maybe it's all the seawater I've been drinking for the past 3 weeks, but is that a bunch of naked women and children walking on board? Oh, moron.
I swear to God, I was about to tear apart that lady covered in banana peels.
And then boom!
Boom! I nutted.
May 1st, 1857, Walker surrenders. He doesn't surrender to the Allies. Instead, he surrenders to the U.S. Navy, who then brings the news to the Costa Ricans. The Costa Ricans accept it. The terms of the surrender don't sit well with the rest of the Allied nations, who had no input on it and wanted Walker's head. Nor did it sit well with some Americans who viewed it as the U.S. government acting as an accomplice of Walker.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
This doesn't sound good. For old Billy Boy.
Yes. And the terms were very good for it would just basically let Walker escape, just leave scot-free.
Let bygones be bygones.
But
man.
there's also some belief.
Shit happens.
Yeah, so what? I burn the fucking place down.
There's also some belief that, according to some correspondence, that if the Costa Ricans had turned it down, the U.S. might have invaded.
Oh.
And so while it did piss off the rest of the Central American countries, especially for Costa Rica just make that choice themselves, other countries used it as a humiliating and shameful act. And Costa Ricans weren't happy about it either. They deplore how Walker was able to save his life after committing so many crimes, slaying so many innocent victims, wreaking such havoc. And also, people in the U.S. didn't support what Walker was doing and viewed the U.S. government as being accomplices to that. But nonetheless, Walker and his 16 officers are then given a boat ride to Panama, where they cross by rail and take a steamship to New Orleans, arriving on May 27th. The remaining military and civilians in his ranks were offered no such thing.
Uh-oh.
And they were tasked with making that travel by themselves. Walker arrived on May 27th. The remaining 240 filibusters and 60 colonists did not reach the United States until August 4th. And here's a description.
Please tell me they were naked. Please tell me they were naked.
Here's their description. Here's the description of that. The return journey for these men was a trip from hell. To reach Panama, they had to go to the Costa Rican port of Putunares. A 2-week trek that included a grueling march of about 120 miles in burning sun across an unforgiving terrain. Many went barefoot, with some only able to walk on crutches. When Walker's men arrived in Panama, they presented to sight a U.S. naval officer, quote, a revolting spectacle of squalor and suffering, unquote. Many were so filthy that they, quote, were literally swarming with vermin.
Oh, my God.
And as they crossed all of these places, the local Central American people...
Look at these fucking savages.
Fucking just... They weren't killed or attacked. They were just...
pelted with human refuse, etc.
Yes, they were. So great was the hatred of the natives that even the women and children would scoff at and curse us as we passed along. And so they were allowed to travel safely, but they were not
humiliated.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
If you got them going under a bridge, they're pissing off it.
Yeah.
And that feels good.
I mean, they're welcoming any sort of hydration.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Rinsing.
That's nice.
And also, part of their trip was used as kind of a schadenfreude for them, the local people. This is a filibuster.
So rarely do we get a parade of misery.
Yeah, of shame.
That we get to really get excited.
Yeah,
about.
they kind of gave them the Queen Cersei treatment.
Yeah.
This is a filibuster felt that the Costa Rican government had purposely forced them to take the Panama-bound ship at Putunares rather than nearby San Juan del Sur, so they could be, quote, converted into a sort of traveling menagerie to gratify the curiosity of wandering greaserdom of the local people. The local people could get their chance.
They get a little something for the trouble.
But when they arrived in New York, they
went all the way to New York then?
Yeah.
But they got to what, New Orleans first?
No. Walker went to New Orleans. They all went to New York.
On foot?
No, they took a boat.
Oh, well, that's nice.
from Panama.
That was some cruise, huh?
And when they arrived, they told the largest paper in New York. They said, General Walker's a rascal. His men were brave and faithful to him, but he always exposed them unnecessarily. He became tyrannical. At last, he deserted his followers without taking a single step which might help them in their distress or alleviate their sufferings. And so this became, for a lot of these people, this became the story. For most of the people.
Yeah. I was in Nicaragua. It was a fucking nightmare. This tiny blonde midget was telling us all types of shit to
and
do.
there's no fucking pie, bro. All they had was pupusas and shit, but they have no fucking za. And the pupusas almost all gone.
Someone's all gone.
They burn it all up.
Now, Walker, after he arrives in the United States, he is, I believe he's court-martialed, or not court-martialed, he's not in the military, but he is, there's a warrant out for his arrest. He eventually shows up in New York to surrender for his arrest. Nothing comes of that case. And
nothing comes of that case. That's interesting. Well, I guess what would that be tried under?
Well, breaking the
no fucking around rule.
Yeah, sub article.
The Neutrality Act. I assume.
Right.
I'm sorry, that was not me. That was a Mr. Let's see, Phil A. Buster. I'm Walker.
Yeah.
There's I found a timeline of this whole thing in the Louisiana Daily Courier from 1858.
The Courier.
And they don't say what he was charged with. They just say that he surrenders in December.
Skullduggery.
Yeah.
They just said he was a bitch.
He surrenders the custody of U.S. Marshals. But then Walker, after he's acquitted or just not found guilty or whatever, he then
he wasn't even charged.
Uses this opportunity to claim he's pro-slavery, and he goes on a speaking tour to raise money for pro-slavery expansionism.
What do you need money for? You're not paying anybody.
Yeah.
He's paying himself.
Yeah, okay.
He spends the next year recruiting men and collecting money for another invasion in 58.
Of Nicaragua?
I assume
anywhere.
Yeah. That one fails when his boat...
To be determined.
His boat runs aground on a reef in the Caribbean, and that fails. So he goes back. In 1860, he publishes a book about his time in Nicaragua in order to raise more money for his next invasion and to get more men. He attempts another invasion, but by this point, Central America, is now consolidated on their anti-Americanism.
Yeah.
And he arrives in Honduras, where the locals just harass him constantly. They don't ring church bells this time. They don't answer the hurrahs.
Yeah.
No one joins his cause.
Yeah, whoopee cushions.
He then surrenders to the British authorities there, who then hand him over to the locals.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Christ almighty.
They let everybody go except for Walker, and they execute him by firing squad.
Holy shit.
Yeah. In 1860.
God damn.
He couldn't let it go, man.
No.
When are you going to just let it go?
Could have lived in the U.S.,
You could
being
have been
pro-slavery.
and eating all the good pizza you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's
Just really, really wanted to have a just slave state, huh?
He just wanted power.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. He would have been fine with
It's a story we don't
free
hear very
soil.
much about, men.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, rarely do they ever seek out power.
Yeah.
At any cost, by any means.
And
But there's I'm sorry.
I was going to say the U.S. hasn't caused any problems in Central America ever since.
Not ever
No.
since. The attitude of no piracy and filibustering being illegal, and then it going down and being like, well, if it works,
Yeah, right.
it's
Right.
not
And it's
illegal.
cool.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not like it's such a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And then also to not prosecute him when
Yeah.
he's returned
Yeah.
is also a choice, being like, hey, if you fuck around, you might not actually find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's our thing.
But if you fuck around 3 more times,
Well, but the British had it. It's not even the British were like, oh fuck this guy.
yeah.
We don't mind the mosquitoes. We can't stand this guy.
Yeah, and it's also a thing where they're going.
we have nets for these sort of
That's a way where you go like, it's like those things where like the U.S. government doesn't acknowledge that some of the Bay of Pigs like pilots were like dudes from Alabama and shit. Like they're like, oh no, that was some guy going out on his own.
So,
like,
yeah,
it was a Cuban national who just had a Razorbacks hat on.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, it's like that kind of thing where they're going
I
like
don't think that's the right team, but
they're going,
but
they're going. I mean,
who's to say?
what's to say?
If only we had records of that.
yeah. I mean, if he could have found a way, he was recognized by the U.S. government.
Oh my God,
he could have found a way.
he was on top of the world.
Yeah.
He was really on top of the world, and
good few months.
and to have the support of the public, especially,
Yeah.
and to be bringing more money and stuff like that. But yeah, then there's obviously going to be like
Just couldn't leave well enough alone.
Right.
and to keep having people come too is the thing where you go like, why do you feel like you need to invent voters when you already have the
seized power.
You have the support of everyone. So
You're only going to dilute.
to bring a bunch of fucking Goombas from New York.
Yeah, you need to focus some wise guys down there.
Yeah.
I guess you need sanitation.
and the Texas guys, and like that thing about being like,
But it would have, it had various, it affected various parts of American policy. Lincoln did have a plan for a free black state, and that was torpedoed because of what Walker had done.
Oh my God.
Whether that was good or bad, but that affected that. And then, it continued fueling the fire of what would, the slavery and anti-slavery folks.
Yeah.
The term filibustero in Central America, if there's ever someone in charge that people don't like, they call him a filibuster. So
really?
these things, there's some resonations throughout there. And they never built that canal.
Yeah.
Instead, they went to Panama.
Right.
Or stole it.
They went to Panama.
Yeah,
That was Teddy, right?
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter.
Yeah, no issues there. That's very, very peaceful.
And then also with Granada. That was the Noriega thing too. With Reagan, right? Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, and
It's crazy that
the
it's
Chicago School and
Pinochet.
Pinochet.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
School of the Americas.
Yeah, we got an idea about the economy. What if you guys did it?
Yeah. The funniest thing about that is that Pinochet abandoned their shit immediately.
Yeah.
Because he was just going like,
I have power now.
oh yeah, and this won't work.
Yeah.
Like,
Bye.
stop, and Allende was, just too socialist that they're like, okay, we'll get rid of him.
Yeah, that can't be good for us. What
Send him a basket of bananas.
Yeah, but like the thing of like, try all these free market principles, and if you're not familiar, folks, the thing was the Friedman School in the Chicago school was going like, all right, let's have like unfettered kind of Ayn Rand capitalism.
Yeah.
And the thing was is that like you go like, well, when people can be like, I can charge as much as you want for water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people rise up and then they
kill those people.
and then they'll kill you.
Yeah.
So Pinochet's going, well, I'd like to not be killed.
Yeah.
Because
I'm the
killer
guy.
guy. Yeah.
And I know that it sucks.
Yeah. And he's like, all I want to do is just rule over these people with an iron fist and give some refuge to Nazis and have them carry out their experiments and live like it's the 1940s. I'm a simple guy.
Yeah.
All I want to do is a zoom.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Hide some UFOs, breed Nazis.
Yeah.
What else? I'm a simple man, Jack.
Yeah. But it is so crazy that you think about, a country that is going like, okay, we're on board. And then we just come down and just fucking bollocks it up from top to bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, such a diverse group of characters among his people that, it seems like if it could have worked, what kind of interesting place it would be.
And it's like,
Well, it was
it's
one of
like paradise too. Like all these like parts, that part of the world is like,
Well, except for the Mosquito Kingdom.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but even that has its benefits.
Yeah. Mostly, the internal strife of the kingdom.
Yeah, it breeds character.
The gin and tonics there are fantastic.
Yeah, mostly tonic. Like that whole that area of the world is so beautiful, and just people just find ways to like fuck it up.
Yeah, because like there's this promise of America, which is like, it starts out as let's make a deal, and let's make a deal where everyone wins, and then
let's change that to where only I win.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like
let's renegotiate.
The greed perseveres, and then it just fucks everything up for everybody, and it's the end.
Yeah.
And you go like, it's like the end of Casino. We're like, we could have had a great thing, and we fucked it all up in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could have just let Rivas stay as president.
Yeah.
And then he could have,
Yeah, you do not need to be president.
Right.
Because
it's fucking bullshit.
it's his campaign slogan for re-election. It's fucking bullshit, man.
There are no strings on me, fool.
And the thing is that like you go like, you can feel that with any question.
Yeah.
It's fucking bullshit.
Senor Presidente, what are your opinions on the petrodollar and its undue influence in the region? Well, it's a fucking good question. It's fucking bullshit, man. I'm glad you asked. Very salient question, Senor. Cogent. I got 4 words for you. It's fucking bullshit, man. I'm sorry. What a language. Scoop, man. Well, that was a great story.
Yeah, I thought you guys might enjoy it. Yeah,
I loved
I had
it.
no idea.
I
They
did
don't
have
teach
no-
you this shit.
completely
in school. They don't teach
forgotten.
you any of the cool shit
completely forgotten in American history.
We are the only people that teach anybody anything.
Oh my
in this
God.
world and the next.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the moment he went, "Oh no, we do slave stuff now," was like, okay, this is.
Bye.
Yeah, but
this
that
is-
was kind of telegraphed from his American time too, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it's just, it was an interesting story, and then just him completely giving up any sort of belief, or like it promote.
There just seemed to be,
Here's the thing. If you do it right, you could. No, let me finish.
I was getting sitting up in my seat going.
If you do that, the economic colonialism, like you were talking about, with the dollar, you're still enslaving people.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're just paying them.
Yes.
You can still have slavery.
Yes.
You just pay them.
Yeah. With grateful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you give them the illusion that they're having a free and fair life.
Yeah. And you go.
But they're still a slave to your system.
And that's the thing, is that the U.S. government was like, okay, well, after this, we only do it economically because, number one, the footprint is light.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your choice.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, like, we come in with, the devil's bargain.
Yeah.
And then, you
Don't
go.
you want some Nikes?
Yeah. And we go, like, well, you can do whatever you want. And you go, like, you might have to, like, brutally, murder a ton of people to get in power and then do it. But the offer's there.
Anyway, so we'll just leave this note here, and we'll be back
Yeah.
with some F-16s.
So it's like that, that's the thing where, like, the difference in colonialism. You don't, you don't need to wave a flag.
Huh?
You do not need to wave a flag.
No, but also, you're trying to do it, secretively. It's sending, Marines over there, or training their goon squads, and that became.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at with Walker is that, like, if he just, I mean, it's just,
He needed to have a lighter footprint.
yeah, you just,
Yeah.
They were already happy.
Yeah.
just. You can pay people almost nothing,
Yeah.
and it's better than slavery.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just that little psychological wage
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
makes it so much easier.
And there was a thing too, where, like, on both sides of that conflict, like, where he is seen as a pacifying force.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he comes
Initially,
in,
yeah.
And you go, like,
He ends the Civil War.
and you go, like, there's a thing where you go like, a guy shows up and he goes, "There's no more fighting, and we all make money."
How about that?
And you go like, "That sounds fucking amazing."
Yeah.
And we're all gonna get laid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all gonna get laid. All right.
Even you, Presidente.
Thank you, senor.
That is not fucking bullshit. That is pretty fucking little shit, man.
Matt, great episode, buddy.
Thank you.
Very good
thought you
job.
boys
I
enjoyed it.
fucking loved it.
Have a great trip.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
have a good trip.
Oh, thank you.
See you next fall.
I don't get it. There's no seasons out here.
Where you're going.
See you next fire season.
Hey,
Cenobite
too soon,
City.
pal.
Lake City.
Cenobite City.
All right.
USA.
Yeah. What if the Cenobites intervened in some kind of, Central American conflict? That'd be fucking.
Dude, sign me up.
Yeah. And they would be pro-slavery.
Yeah.
Time.
Everyone would be a slave.
Yeah.
Equality through slavery.
Yeah.
through slavery.
Happiness.
Yeah, happiness
in
through
slavery.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pleasure.
Nine Inch Nails song.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I love you both.
Love you too.
Matt, have a great trip.
Thank you.
I'm going to say goodnight. My name is John Fahey.
My name is Aaron Pita.
Matt Brousseau.
Good night, everybody. We love you.